need to sell some of them. You're wasting all your time and money on models. Paint what you have.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Model Club.
What?
That
What
didn't
now?
work. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Model Club TV episode 22.
Why
I
are
stole
you
your
stealing
thunder.
my bit?
I stole
22.
it. I stole it.
Me too.
how are-
That's
I'm
two
Jason
of these.
Walker, as
Two of
always.
these on each side.
My beautiful co-host Scott Johansson,
Yeah.
who's up my ass today for some reason.
If I was up your ass, you would feel it.
Doubtful. Anyway, how are you, Scott?
I'm in rare form, apparently.
I don't know. I have a bad feeling about this already from the beginning, but we'll see. We have a treat of an episode, I think, for everyone today.
We sure do.
I honestly, I think between AFM last one and Tony Cipriano this one, there's some really good stuff in here. And the interview's kind of long, so we are going to kind of shorten up a little bit and move a little quicker. And
Strap in, kids.
but you know what? We always say that every episode, and it doesn't work. So, yeah, we're in for a long one. So real quick, right off the bat, we're going to do our giveaway. Just get it done and over with. So the first thing we're going to do, first giveaway, is the Jaeger Army card. All right? Are we
Jaeger
ready?
Army card.
Jaeger Army card. I should hold it up. You get
And
your.
the winner is.
Remember, we have one more Jaeger Army card after this one to give away. What does the Jaeger Army card get you, Scott?
It gets you in the Jaeger Army.
What does
As
that do?
Book private. No, it gets you. it gets you the ability to any Jaeger Army exclusives. So far, there have been 2. I believe the third one is in the works. And for the life of me, I think they announced it. And I can't remember, so I apologize. But
I told you, rare form.
Rare form, but it's coming.
Yeah.
And anyway, so you have the 2 right now, the Black Cat bust and the Jack Palance Dracula bust. And you can only buy these if you are in the Jaeger Army.
So here we go.
Here we go. And you don't have to be on Facebook's Jaeger Army group. As long as you hear about it, you can contact them and still buy kits. You don't have to be in their group. Who do we got?
Mike McDonald.
Mike McDonald.
387-046. Mike McDonald. So we'll get that Jaeger Army card out to you. And again, anyone else, we have one more to give away. So if you have not entered yet, we're keeping all your names in there. And we will draw next episode. And if you want to get back in there or get in there and you haven't yet, you have time. So send an email to modelclubtv@gmail.com. And I pushed my button, so it worked. And
I knew you were, so that's why I was pointing down.
You got to point on an angle.
Oh,
sort of. Nope, the other way. The other way. There you go. Yep, that worked. But I don't have it up right now. Oh, wait a minute. Ask me about Pestilence Labs.
Yeah, in a minute. All right, Pestilence Labs. What do you know about Pestilence Labs?
Pestilence Labs, watch this. Remember, I've been talking about this for a while. So if I push, wait, let me go back. If I push this button, oh, can you see it? Oh, you can't. It does this. And you can't see it. But it's a Pestilence Labs button that says Fighting Mark Worthling on Facebook. Oh, I wish you could see the little screen. Anyway, Mark, there you go. You got your button. And congratulations.
I don't even have a button.
You do have contact info?
SRJ823@AOL.com.
Oh, boy. Please send him some horrible stuff. Okay. And
our next giveaway.
Our next giveaway is
speaking
the Kong
of Pestilence
head.
Labs.
Yeah, speaking of Pestilence Labs. Wait, let me do it again. Pestilence Labs. It is the Kong replacement head. Here we go. John Baxter. 387-042. John Baxter got the Kong head. Congratulations. And check out Pestilence Labs for the Kong head.
Yes. And also check out Pestilence Labs for their next Kong
lots of stuff.
accessory. that's coming.
So as far as other giveaways, we're kind of in a mail issue right now. I know that CG Blade has a kit coming to give away, Crimson. I was hoping it would be here before we recorded this episode. And Kendall Connor has some stuff he's sending too. I think it's going to come this week. We just had to record today. So next episode, we'll probably have 2 more things to give away. So congratulations, everybody.
You wanted to.
And what?
So
all right, we have a giveaway this episode. Scott, you want to tell everybody what they can get?
Yes, we have a nice small little bust here. And I'm going to put it up, but I also have a picture we can put it up. Sheer Terror Society.
Nice.
Sculpted by Garage Kit veteran William Paquette. And now being cast and produced by Paul Gill. And this little bust is our newest giveaway. And there's a picture of a painted one that we'll put up as well. So, if you would like to be part of this giveaway, email us at
modelclubtv@gmail.com down there. I mean,
okay. And Sheer Terror.
Yeah, Sheer Terror Society. That's awesome. I'm really glad to see William's stuff coming out.
And when we get into news and reviews, we'll talk about some more stuff. And then this little beauty is available for purchase too for $25 plus shipping and handling. Get a hold of Paul Gill. And there's also a Facebook group, Son of Sheer Terror Society. And you can join that as well.
Yep. And we'll put all that information down below. So,
all right. And thanks again to Paul Gill and William Paquette for donating to our little
yeah, that's
here.
awesome. That's a really cool piece. In the email, just put terror in the subject line.
Okay, terror.
And that will let me see in the thousands of emails I get.
It's 1 zillion. I get none.
Yeah, we got to work on that. I'll figure that out. So that's our giveaways. Let's move it right along. And I know we're trying to move fast, but I don't want to really.
Before we move along,
here we go.
Thank Terry and Dave for coming on last week and making that our most watched episode of all time. It's like crazy amount of views.
What the heck? It's going to get Terry a big head as always, too.
Yeah, I know. But anyway, Jeff Yeager on again to see if we can't knock those guys out of the lead again. But,
yeah, wow. I'm blown away by the support that episode got. So we're, I'm surprised 2 people watch this dumb thing we do. So thank you. And thank you to Terry and Dave for coming on. And we got more of this stuff coming. Today's interview, I think, is really cool. Tony Cipriano. We recorded it a couple days ago. I wore the same shirt for continuity. Did you?
I had no idea what I wore and didn't care.
All right. Well, we'll see.
It was daylight when we recorded the goddamn thing. Who cares? So.
All right. Moving on to news and reviews. Oh, I think there's a thing now. Do I have one of those? I think I do. Okay. I honestly, the reason, Scott, I was late, 10 minutes late, is I was finishing watching Invincible. I finished the season. I've been begging you to watch this show, and I'm begging everyone to watch Invincible on Amazon Prime. It's another superhero thing, which I was like, ugh, another superhero thing. But it's done by Robert Kirkman, who did Walking Dead comic, and it was a comic before. And I put the first episode on thinking it was going to be really dumb. And the first 75% of it was really dumb. And I was like, this is terrible. Why am I watching it? And then the last 25% was the craziest thing I've ever seen in my life in cartoon form. And I've seen a lot of nutty cartoons. There is, and having just watched the last episode, there is no way this could be done in live action. It would be rated XXX ridiculous. I for people who have seen it and watched this season,
ridiculous.
There's some of the bloodiest stuff I've ever seen in my life. And you know me and bloody stuff. I've seen some things. And It's
Yes, you have.
there was one. Oh my God. I want to talk about it so bad, but it's so new. We're going to have to come back to this in a month or two after you finish watching it and do a spoiler alert thing because wow. What I just watched 20 minutes ago was insane. And I really liked it and it got so much better. It's like, so let me explain. It's like a Saturday morning cartoon superhero show that's ultra violent and done in the same kind of style, kind of goofy, kind of like just you're not wonderful, amazing animation, I think on purpose. So it looks like that. But everyone, please watch Invincible. It is really good. Put up with those first 20 minutes because it's going to kick you in the ass at the end. It's really good. Really good. Really good. Anyway, that's our movie corner.
Yeah.
Scott, did you see anything?
Is it really good?
Yeah. Did you see anything?
I've seen nothing.
What's going on? Do you need a therapist today or something?
You're gonna need an ER doctor.
Oh,
I can tell you that.
All right.
No, I've just been, busy recovering from cancer and all that, but don't worry about me. Okay. So
Cancer, whatever.
no, I've just been really haven't watched much TV. If I do, it's like mindless reruns and stuff. So
Well, please, I'm begging you, watch this show. Just watch it.
okay.
Just
I'll
watch
do it right now.
Okay.
I'll tell you what, I'll do it right now. Goodbye, everybody.
All right, see you. I'll do the rest. Tony Cipriano, everyone. Okay, on to some stuff. News. We have a news information. It's rare that we have a news thing. Kit
Sure.
Builders, Norbert, Resin Maniacs, out of
Norbert,
left field. Like, wow. Tell everybody what happened.
tell them what they've won. I guess Norbert or Resin Maniacs. So I don't know if it's Norbert by himself. Have purchased Kit Builders, and I guess are gonna start doing a magazine.
That's very cool.
So
you know what? I think we should probably get Norbert on and have him talk about it, see what his plans are. He also said he's going to do more YouTube stuff. That'd be great to have more people around. But yeah, that's very cool. I'm glad that someone rescued the magazine. I hope they do something really cool with it. And let's see. I don't know. I don't know what it's going to be. So it's exciting. It was just totally surprising. So Norbert, good luck. On to Kit news.
Kit news.
Kit news that we saw. This is the Ozzy Osbourne Bark at the Moon. I am on a list apparently. Number 3. I hope. I really like this kit and I can't wait to have it. I think I talked about it before or maybe not, but I love this kit and I can't wait to get it. So I'm on the list. This is from Dale Mattingly and it's been kind of floating around on the boards for a little while of the progress and it's out. I think they're having some new castings done. So if you search on the boards or look up Dale Mattingly, I think you'll be able to find it. I'll put a link in the description down here to him or somewhere where you can get a hold of that. But this is Ozzy Osbourne from the Bark at the Moon cover. And I think it's just really well done. And I'm surprised it took so long for someone to do that kit. And that's it.
I suppose I shouldn't alienate most of our listeners and tell them how I hate Ozzy Osbourne, huh?
Nah, go ahead.
Oh, no, I don't hate Ozzy Osbourne. Hold on.
Wait, hold on.
Hold on.
I said the Beatles suck, right? And people have never heard the end of it.
I don't hate
I
Ozzy
think
Osbourne. I don't like his music.
I loved Ozzy Osbourne in junior high.
But
I think he's just okay now.
That first season of the Osbournes was hilarious. So
yeah. But I mean, Bark at the Moon is a great album, and Diary of a Mad, like that it's good. But yeah, it's an acquired taste. His voice isn't for everyone. But that where he's dressed up as a werewolf on the cover is a really cool werewolf. So check it out. Next, we have from Monster in the Woods, Curse of the Werewolf. I saw finally. I think you had mentioned this to me. But it was the first time I had seen it. I think that's a pretty cool bust by Joe Simon. Is it 1/1?
Yes.
Yes. So
it's going to be a monster.
Yeah, it looks big, which is cool. I remember I painted one of the big heads of those, and that was a big monster too. But this looks a little heftier, which is kind of nice.
Yeah, it's a nice piece. Get a hold of John Deere. I don't know when he's going to start. I know it still has to be molded. So, but there it is.
Yeah, Curse of the Werewolf. All right, on to the go-kart. What's that?
As everyone knows, well, you probably don't. Years ago when Polar Lights was doing all their reissues, of course, everyone wanted the Godzilla's GoKart
Why?
because it's the rarest plastic model kit of all time.
Really?
Not just Aurora. It's probably one of the rarest plastic model kits of all time.
Okay.
And at the time, they couldn't get Toho to license it.
I
So
can
what they did
understand
is they
why.
took the fins off the back of the box art and just called it the go-kart. However, they received a C and D anyway. So they weren't out very long and they got pulled. They actually, for a Polar Lights kit, at one point I saw them going for over $100 a piece. So fast forward now here to 2021, and Polar Lights Round 2 has now gotten the blessing of Toho, apparently, and they are re-releasing this kit with the original box art intact, including the Aurora logo. And I think the pre-order price there at Cult TV Man is $29.99. And it's coming, but that's really cool news. For those that always wanted the box art and, for it to say Godzilla and
What year did that originally come out?
the original Godzilla's GoKart?
Yeah.
66, I believe.
Okay.
So,
All right.
and in all the years I've been around, I think I've seen 2 for sale. So and the last one went on eBay for over $10,000. Yes, $10,000
For that?
for the original Godzilla's GoKart. Yes.
Speaking of alienating people, I don't like the go-kart kit. I think they're dumb and I don't understand. But
I thought this was the best of the lot, actually. This one was kind of cool compared to the other ones.
and I've built the Godzilla one, and I built a mummy and and the Frankenstein and a Dracula. And I don't get it. Maybe it's just me. I don't know.
Well, at the time they were the weirdos were out.
Yeah, I know.
And the Ratfinks were out, so they were trying to cash in on that.
Yeah.
And all their hot rod kits were only out for a short period of time, and because they didn't sell. So
Yeah.
I don't even ever remember seeing these in stores. The first time I saw them was in a Famous Monsters ad, and I was like blown away that they existed because I had never heard of them. And by then they were outdated. They were gone. They were almost 10 years old at that point. So
Yeah. Okay. Well, that is cool news for those people that like that weird stuff.
Oh, I got a yawn. I got the yawns tonight.
And the bitches. Sliding.
The next thing is our friend Charlie Robson, who we have to mention again. Paul Gill has the molds, or has the piece, and has begun the molding process for the Superman project. And there you can see the start of the head clay up there.
Oh, cool. Yep.
So that's coming.
Excellent. Good job, Charlie.
And a
you made it to
correction
that
from
far?
last episode, I said $225. The price is $200.
Nice.
But again, the initial list is sold through, but contact Charlie if you want to be in on a possible second run. So, and then the next thing I saw is John Dennett, part of his bus series here is Sam Spade, Humphrey Bogart. And I have one on the way. So hopefully next episode,
Nice.
I'll be able to hold it in my hand and review it. But John's another guy we want to get on here.
Yeah.
And I haven't approached him yet, but I always bug him all the time, so he might not come on. But so anyway, that's coming for me just because I'm a classic Hollywood guy, and there we go.
All right, and the Mummy.
So unbeknownst to me, I should say unbeknownst to me because I wasn't paying attention. The initial run of these has sold through at 75. Okay. He's got 75. So he's starting a list for a second run, but it's probably going to have to be remolded.
Hold on. 75?
75. Yep.
70? Casting all that stuff 75 times.
Yeah. And so Troy has
Sorry,
started.
Troy. Sorry, I'm laughing.
Well, Troy's not doing the casting,
Okay,
so he's
casting?
laughing too. I'm not sure.
Who's the poor bastard?
I don't know. Well, Paul Gill was the poor bastard that had to mold it all. But so Troy started a list for his second run. If he gets 25, he will do a second run. It's at 14 now. So
okay.
Shadow Creations with a K.
Yeah, we'll put that down there too.
And
I'm gonna make buttons for everybody. I'm saying that
we'll get a list going, or he's got a list going for that. But I think he needs like 11 more.
Okay.
So there you go.
And what would it?
Christ. This show is so boring. I don't know. People watch it. Up next, we have from Jeff Yeager, cast by Paul Gill. They're calling this one Foul Stench. And I think we all know who this is. And it's Peter Cushing. And it'd be a nice, you have the Grimsdyke and you have the Van Helsing that Paul put. So this would be a nice 3-piece, iconic.
That's a good idea.
Peter Cushing
tribute
piece
shelf area.
And so this is available, limited edition. It's $80 plus shipping and handling. Get a hold of Jeff or Paul Gill for ordering info, and we'll put Jeff's email up here too for this. So, and then we're going to talk about. I already mentioned the son of the Sheer Terror Society Facebook group. Bill Paquette and Paul Gill are the mods there, and I think they're just talking about the stuff. And as we talked about before, some of the reissues, the sculpts by William Paquette, and the first one that Paul is going to reissue, I should say, is the Shockwave Zombie. And he is quarter scale, and he will be $100 plus shipping and handling.
Very cool. I really like William Paquette's style and his sculptures, so that's really good to see these coming back. Thanks to both of them, to Paul and William, for putting these back out. I think a lot of people missed them kind of the first time around, and to have the exposure, I think now, I think there's an audience there for that stuff, and I wish them all the luck, because these are, I truly love his style, and it's just one of those things. Yeah. Hits me in the right spot. Like the Godzilla GoKart doesn't, these do.
Again, I want to just say thanks to Bill and Paul for donating this bust. That was also available for $25 plus shipping and handling through Paul Gill. And don't forget our giveaway email.
Oh, the other finger, the other direction.
Yeah. Email here. Subject line terror, and you'll get entered to win this little jobber here. Our good friend Mark Worthling.
That button. What's he got here for us?
He has for the upcoming King Kong re-release from Atlantis, and or if you're restoring an old Aurora monogram, whatever is out there, is this by Joe Simon, this Fay Ray figure. And as you can see, this is going to come in a few parts, digitally sculpted. It is, I think, 2.5 inches tall, Mark said, and really nice add-on to the King Kong, and to go with the head. And it's I'm not sure what the price will be, but I know the sculpt's just about done, or if it's not done. And anybody that's ever built this original kit, this is better than the ice cream cone head that it comes with. And the cool thing about this is it's going to come in 2 parts. I don't know whose idea that was. Do you, Mark? So that you can build the Kong, because anybody that's ever built this kit knows that. So this is the way the hand kind of is, right?
Photoshop, so Photoshop opportunity. Photoshop opportunity.
Yeah, Photoshop. So anyway, but so in order to build this, you would have to put her in and then build the two halves of the arm. So this way you'll be able to, for those that like to seam their models, and you could put the hand together in the arm, and then she will go in two pieces,
Cool.
and you won't have to
That looks really good. The
don't have to
dress
worry
looks
about
awesome.
teaming. So so anyway, that's coming from Mark. And also I talked to Mark today. Those of you waiting on the witch, he said he picked up the factory sample today, and it's beautiful. There's a couple things they have to tweak, but that's why they get a factory sample. And
It's
so
coming.
that project is
Yeah.
moving along.
That's
Yeah,
gonna
that
be
thing
cool.
is moving along. So
I feel kind of like
that'll be like a
grandparents.
dual Pestilence Labs review, because you'll have one and I'll have one.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
So that'll be kind of cool.
That
So
might be the
anyway,
first time we've ever bought a kit at the same time of the same thing.
yeah, because I'm not buying a cup of noodles.
No.
So anyway, that's from
That's
Mark.
cool. Good job.
Okay. And that's all I have.
Yeah, there's not a lot this week. We have
Oh,
a little ad for Tony Cipriano, though, I want to talk about here. You're the cartoon kit guy, and it looks like you're going to be in heaven after our interview. There's a lot that might be coming, and it kind of depends on how these do for him. So, do you want to explain how he's going to do these?
so Tony is going to start out by printing these himself. So they're going to be a print to order thing.
And you're going to find out why he's printing himself during the interview.
Yeah, we're going to go into all that in our interview. So this is an 11-inch tall Space Ghost, and digitally sculpted by Tony, and it's going to be available. Tony's only shipping to the lower 48 because he doesn't want to deal with craziness. If there's anybody that wants to buy something from him that is overseas, and I'm going to kill myself for this, get a hold of me, okay? And I'll see if I can't make that happen for you.
Hey, look at you.
I'll have Tony send it to me, and I'll send it to you. As long as you want to pay for shipping. Well, I want Tony to keep doing this.
Yep.
Tony will also paint it for you and ship it to you for $325 if you just want a painted one. And if after Space Ghost, we're gonna try Underdog, and you and I
we saw
that,
it.
and it's amazing. And after that, maybe Mighty Mouse and some of the other stuff that you're gonna see in some of the photos that we have coming up.
Mm-hmm. So Tony, this is gonna be cool if this takes off. So support.
Well, I'm
Tony
gonna be in
Cipriano.
heaven.
Yeah, you
obviously, because there's a lot of stuff that's on my list. And the thing is too, and he didn't do this. He wants to see how this goes, but this could turn into, because these are digital. Okay. He wanted the Space Ghost to be a little taller, but that's as big as his printer will, go. But he does have the ability to make them smaller, or maybe some of them bigger. So, there's a lot. Again, this opens the door with the digital thing. A lot of things you can do. And, the downfall of it is they take a long time to print, but the upside is you don't have to mold them, and you hit a button and you walk away and go to bed, and in the morning it's there. So, I really want this to work out for him. He's a good guy. I've met him a couple times, but the couple hours we spent with him a couple Saturdays ago, and Tony has his digital sculpting class, which you'll hear us talk about, and I've watched about half of them, and I think I can do it now. So it's now I probably can't, but I think
I'm sure you could actually.
But he showed us a lot of stuff. We're even going to have a little video demo where he's going to show us a little bit of the program. And this program's available for $10.
Nothing major because of the way the technology was working that day. But just for people who have no idea how ZBrush works, you'll kind of get an idea of of the
Right.
program just to see what it
And
looks
if
like.
not, spend the $10 and go buy the videos just to watch them,
Yep.
because it's so cool watching it. So
Yeah. You know what I think, and if William is watching this, or if Jeff is watching this, Jeff Yeager, anybody, William, I think doing classes like this from every different sculptor is a amazing idea. And just to get the different styles and the different techniques that everybody uses, and then you're kind of grabbing from everywhere. And not everyone likes to teach, so it's, who knows. But I think if other people did out little demo videos like that and sold them, I think it would be really cool to see.
And
more
I
of
also want to link the I sent you the link, I think, of the monster model review that Rob Madison did.
Yeah,
where
we'll link it in there.
Terry interviewed Tony at Wonderfest like 3 or 4 years ago. And Tony said, I will never, never get away from clay. And here he is.
Yeah, he'll explain that whole story too. It's a great interview.
Yeah, it's good. So anyway, some good stuff coming from Tony there.
Yeah.
And hopefully more. So there you go.
The last thing I wanted to share here in news and reviews, it's once in a while we just show a kit that we find. Our good friend Kendall Connor, who won both giveaways last week. And I have some email stuff later in the episode too. This is his Aurora Bride of Frankenstein. This thing is really, really cool. I was blown away. I'm going to put more of these pictures in the gallery at the end of the episode. The detail that he plowed into this is just, it's nuts. And between him and Rob Madison and Rob's kits that he's been doing, these would have been perfect for Model Club, the contest that we have been doing, I think, because there is some really cool stuff in this piece. And good job, Kendall. Like, bravo.
And
That's a cool
Kendall's
thing.
the guy that did the Land of the Giant Snake. For those that remember us showing that. And didn't he also was he the one that did the Angel Fink with the nitro with the fiber optic?
Yep, we've been sharing some of his work here and there. He's he felt I don't know if he felt guilty, but he wanted to give back to the show. So he's given us some stuff to give away in the next episode. It should be coming. This is one of the things I was talking about. It should be coming this week, but we'll have to wait till the next episode. And we'll get there. And I have a picture to share later. So that's news and reviews. The Workbench. Scott.
Yeah.
What'd you do? What'd you make? What'd you build?
Well, some of the stuff that I bought while we went to the hobby store. I didn't buy anything when we went, did I? No, I had some stuff that I bought it. I carried it up there.
Yeah. So I went ahead and did a Workbench thing for you.
You sure did.
This is a picture of what exactly, Scott?
This is the resin vinyl horde.
So when I was at Scott's house for the for the trip we went on, I took a picture of his shelves of just his kits, and organizing is as much as building a kit sometimes, and putting that all away neatly. I just thought everybody should see.
Wait, it sure looks better in the photo than it does when you're down there.
I know. But well done organizing. Good job.
And I'll give that Godzilla away before you ever see it. You understand me?
Oh no.
Okay.
Oh no, it's mine. I already have a deal with your stepkids and wife. Seriously, you haven't built anything? Haven't done anything? Nothing?
No. I haven't even gotten anything in the mail other than I had ordered a second Black Cat bust. So I got that and this Sheer Terror Society bust that Paul sent us. And other than that, I've gotten nothing in the mail since the last episode even.
I have an announcement. I took the plunge and got a 3D printer and a 3D resin washing machine thing too. So I ended up getting an Elegoo Saturn. I have not touched it yet. Well, I have touched it. I'll explain that in a second. And I got a Anycubic washing station, the Anycubic Plus. Charlie Robson walked me through the washing station, and we were chatting back and forth with the printers. I just happened to check on Saturns on Amazon, and they were in stock, and I grabbed it right away. And by the time I told you about it in that afternoon, they were gone. So I have not used it yet because I am waiting for a part to come in the mail. I ordered the flex plate so it's easier to remove things. I'm waiting for that to come, and I ordered a screen protector for it, which I installed yesterday. That came, so I'm really excited. That's going to be pretty fun to walk. I got the bug though. I kind of want to buy one of those FDM ones now. The normal, like not resin.
The filament ones?
Yeah, I kind of want to get one of those to build paint holders. That's all I want to do with it.
Yeah.
But
buy a hold saw and some wood and make your own.
Yeah, but I do have a saw. I could do it. But yeah, I'm a 3D printer owner now, which is kind of cool. And it's nervous. Like I'm afraid to even.
There's a place on there selling it for $6.45 today.
Ah.
But I've been looking every day.
I chat some. I was following a couple groups, and they said every day some will come in stock. So just keep. There's an app you can get that's like stock alerts and stuff.
Does it?
So yeah. And then again, Workbench. What I've been doing is building miniatures. This painting area looks the same because I haven't painted anything. But I did share the finished bar pictures here, and this is even if you're following me on Facebook. These are different than those. This is the finished bar after the jar of alcohol octopus tentacle incident. And I included a picture of the shelf with the lights, with my dead animals. Some of them. I moved some other ones. There's not as many up there anymore. And that's my bar. And I got a picture framed of the patron saint, Mr. Leahy from Trailer Park Boys, behind the bar now, which really.
I thought that was your dad or something. Maybe I didn't know. You
gotta watch Trailer Park Boys. You'll totally understand. It's the greatest show ever. But that's Mr. Leahy. Anyway, that's the Workbench. Redoing that bar took a lot of time out of me, and now that that's done, I'll be able to move on.
Let's hope so.
Dude, he's what's gotten into you today, man? Got an attitude.
Hey, yeah, Mr. Attitude. That's me.
All right. Our interview with Tony Cipriano. Again, we were just talking it up a couple minutes ago. Tony was amazing that day and was a champ. He installed Zoom specifically for us, and it went well. And I really hope people, after this, buy his class. It's $10. At the time it is. I think it still is. Get his class, take it, support him, buy his kits. He's a good guy, a really good guy. And even though he is from like New York and New Jersey, one of those.
Yeah, and he thought we were.
Yeah, he thought we were part of that crew. How is that possible? I don't talk like that. I talk like I'm from Chicago. So please. Oh, and in the beginning here, I put a little slideshow of his work instead of sticking it at the end. So enjoy the interview with Tony Cipriano. All right, everybody, we are back, and we are here with Tony Cipriano, or as Rainer Engel would say, Tony Cipriano. But
he's right. He's right. That's how you're supposed to say it.
Is it really?
Yeah,
my so Italian. We're all wrong.
Well, in Italy, the CI, my Italian teacher in high school, I didn't even know this. I'm not like right off the boat. I'm second generation, but my Italian teacher used to call me Chip. And I was like, what do you call me Chip for? He goes, CI is ch. It's the ch sound, but whatever. You could call me Sip. That's what all my friends call me growing up was Sip, C-I-P.
All right. Good to know. Well, Rainer's right about many things, so he was right about that as well. How are you, sir?
I'm good. I'm good. Thank you for having me.
Where are you living these days? Where are you in the States? Where would people find you?
I just moved back. Actually, I'm in the basement now. I got boxes everywhere. We were in Florida for 5 years, and we just got back up to New York. But now that the virus is kind of subsiding a little bit, we don't know. We don't know what's going on. I think I was working at Universal full time. I was working for Disney for a couple of years, and then at Universal for a little over a year. And then when the virus hit, they fired everybody. They just laid off like thousands of people. So we could have probably stuck it out and stayed down there, but my kids were missing their friends, and we had family up here. So we said, let's just go back to New York until we didn't know. We still don't know what's going on. So we may go back someday, but.
Are you the only people that moved from Florida back to New York? Like, was the traffic really easy going that way? Everyone else is coming the other way?
Yeah, it's a stupid. It was a stupid move. I think we were getting settled in down there, and that's where all the work is for me. I was with Disney, Imagineering, and with Universal. Universal's building. I don't know if you heard 4 new theme parks.
No.
But yeah, they're building. It's called Epic Universe. So they're building 4 new lands, and that's what I was working on. I'm not supposed to talk about it, so
okay, I got you. I was just gonna ask that. We probably shouldn't talk about it, but that's cool.
Yeah, they made me sign a big stack of ND. You can imagine Disney and Universal big non-disclosure agreements, but it was cool. It was cool stuff, and I think they're going to ramp it up again. They're talking about restaffing everyone and starting construction again. On these 4 new theme parks, so I may have to go back again.
I went to visit Dan a few times, Dan Colonna, when he was working for Disney and Universal in the parks, and then when he was freelancing, and I got a good tour. It was pretty fun. Like, to see it from that side, it's really fun to see.
Yeah,
and just to know what he was working on then, because he was working on when they redid Main Street right before he got sick and had to quit. How did you get started? Like, did you set out to be a sculptor? Is it something you fell into? Did you go to school? Like, or is it just, holy crap, I can sculpt, I'm going to do this?
Yeah, it's a funny story. You got time? You want to?
Oh yeah,
we got time.
We got time.
It's probably similar to Chicago. Like in New York, I grew up in Brooklyn, and all my knucklehead friends would take all the civil service exams. They all became cops and firemen and mailmen and stuff like that. So the path usually was, I didn't think I like to draw all the time. I used to love Popeye and like to draw Popeye. I didn't think you could make a living doing that. I never thought that. So I was planning on being a cop or a fireman, but you take the test and then you wait. So most of us would jump on the train and go into the city and get like a clerical job while we were on the list, while we waited to get called for the police department or the fire department. So I was working, believe it or not, on Wall Street for a couple of years. I know, right?
Yeah.
Me on Wall Street, I was in the accounting department, and you know how they say like the right brain controls the art side and the left brain. The left side of my brain is like, ooh, there's nothing there. I don't know math. I hate math. I fucking hate
my
math.
buddy, my boy. So
like
just to stop your story for 1 second, I'm the same thing. I look like this and even weirder most of my life, and I'm an elementary school teacher for 20 years and in junior high now. But I can't do math, and I just found a letter that my dad had written to my teacher in like 3rd grade about how terrible I was in math and who they should get for a tutor. I placed into when I tested into college, I placed into 8th grade math. I was telling this to my 8th graders yesterday.
And he's still there.
And they all looked at me like, you're an idiot. And then I think I've told this story before too. Being an art teacher, there's some times where you have like open time in your schedule between classes, and they always have you go into the other classes to help out or tutor or something. And so I got into like the 3rd grade math class, and they're like dividing fractions or some stupid shit. And I'm like, I can't do this. I don't know what you're doing. But all right, sorry, math. But I totally get what you're saying.
Can you? But they put me in the accounting department, and it was ridiculous. It was a nightmare for like 2 years. I'm doing. It was me and about 20 Chinese guys, and they would speak Chinese like right in front of me. They would look at me and laugh and point at me, and I'm like, "Come on, man!" So it was either be miserable or go to art school. So I went to art school. Well, the story's gets a little bit longer and funnier because I got the flu and I was out for like 2 weeks. And I was supposed to be doing all these cash reports and all this math and shit. And I used to take the cash reports and put them in my desk drawer and just leave them there and draw all day. I would draw caricatures of all these Asian men sitting around me. So I got the flu and I was out for like 2 weeks. So I'll never forget this guy, Raymond Wong, sat at my desk. And he opened I guess he must have opened the drawer in one of my desk drawers, and he found like all these cash reports that were undone for weeks. So I came back to work, and the secretary's like, Mr. Lee wants to see you as soon as you get settled. And he said, Tony, you're a nice boy. You're a good artist. He goes, but we can't keep you here. He goes, you have like a month's worth of cash reports undone and all these pictures of us in the desk. So he goes, how about this? How about I write you a nice letter of recommendation and you go to the art school down the street on 23rd Street. I was like, yeah, that's a good idea, Mr. Lee. Thank you. So I went to art school. That's how I went to art school. They fired me from Wall Street. And I spent about 7 years in art school.
Oh man!
Just on and off, bartending, taking a semester off. Waiting table.
Same thing.
I didn't know what. I still don't know. I'm 57. I still don't know what the hell I'm doing or what I want out of life.
So you're like exactly 10 years older than me. Same thing. I don't know what the hell I'm doing either.
Yeah.
Was anyone in your family? Go ahead.
I had a quick similar story. In my high school biology class, I had a little cartoon spy man. And I would have Spyman would meet the various kids in the class. Well, the teacher was Mr. Anderson, and none of us liked him. So I drew a cartoon, Spyman meets Mr. Anderson, and had him chasing all the boys around and stuff. And, the kids making fun of him. And I used to fold them like comic books with a cover. And we had these, where you put your books, they were desks, but they weren't your permanent desks. But I'd keep them in there so other people. So I come in one day and all of a sudden they're all gone. Okay.
Uh-oh.
And I'm like, oh, somebody took them or threw them out or whatever. And I was goofing off with my one buddy or whatever, and he went off on me. And he just started yelling about not paying attention and blah, blah, blah. And he said to me, yeah, and so, Mr. Johansson, who's Spy Man going to meet today? So apparently,
that's great.
So yeah, I had a similar story.
Yes, I have other stories.
Yeah,
it got me in trouble, but you know what? It also got me out of trouble, a lot of trouble. Because the tough kids in high school, they were like, "Hey, can you paint Metallica on my leather jacket?" Yeah,
same. Yep.
So it got me in trouble and it got me out of trouble. But anyway, so I went to art school and wasted a lot of time there and a lot of money. But I met my wife there, so that was good. And Disney came recruiting, and that's how I got the job at Disney.
Very cool.
There was no sculpture. There was no sculpture. I didn't start sculpting until years later when I got to Disney.
Your family, were they supportive? Knowing, you said you're from Brooklyn, was your family a police family, a fireman family, or?
No, my dad owned a bar actually.
Oh, cool. Okay.
But supportive, yeah, that's actually why I stuck with it. Was because my dad and my sister would be like, oh, they would make such a fuss, if I drew Popeye, and I was like little, I was like 3 years old. But if I drew a nice picture of Popeye, they would be like, holy cow, look at this, look at what the kid drew. and in school, in first grade, everybody drew the same, as far as I'm concerned. Everybody had the same. I don't think there's any such thing as magic talent or anything like that. I think I just stuck with it because I got attention from it.
Yeah.
I think people were like, oh, look at that. That looks good. And I was like, oh, it's a way to.
It is funny though, having taught kindergarten art for 20 years, there's there is that thing where it's like everyone's kind of on the same level, but then there's that one that's like a spike, and you're like, that kid's going somewhere, and you can totally tell. And that's what I always tell people. They're like, I can't draw. I'm like, if you can practice, you can learn it, you can do it.
Yeah.
But then there's those kids that just, they think like the math geniuses. There are the art geniuses in there, but they're rare.
Right.
It very rarely comes along.
Right. I agree. I agree with you. I don't think it's like, magic. Though. I don't think it's like this blessing that you're bestowed.
It's
I think
a curse, maybe more than anything.
Yeah. It's hand-eye coordination, maybe it is, or some people have like Frazetta, or a guy like Frazetta, or a guy like Tiger Woods. His father had a golf club in his hand from 3 years old. Yeah. So of course the guy's going to be like a champion golfer, right?
Yep.
Well, he sure ain't a race car driver, I can tell you that.
Yeah, I heard about that. What happened? Did he get hurt? Is he still?
Yeah,
did he get hurt
messed
bad?
up.
Oh yeah, he messed up. His leg got all screwed up. I think they said his bone was showing through the.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Right. That's right. Disney. This was around the time Disney was in the garbage can for years. They were making like, what were those movies in the 70s that were really tanking, like the Black Cauldron and
the Black Hole.
Black Hole's fantastic.
Stuff like that. After Walt died, well, they weren't commercially successful. Let's put it that way.
Yeah.
But after Walt passed away,
Condor Man. Remember that?
I don't even know what that is. Is that a live action?
Live action one. It was terrible.
Oh my God. Yeah, they were not doing well for a while, and then when the Little Mermaid came out, and they started making like these big Broadway musicals out of these cartoons, that made like crazy money, and Roy Disney was still there at the time, and he said, we got to sink some money back into animation. This is our legacy, our heritage, whatever it is. And we can't just do away with the animation department. I think there was even talk about getting rid of it at some point. But The Little Mermaid came out and it made tons of money. And then they started going around to the colleges all around the country and recruiting illustration students. And I had no interest in animation other than, Saturday morning animation. I didn't want to be an animator. I was an illustration major in college. But they didn't want animation majors. They wanted people who could draw the figure, and then they would take you and train you how to do their style, whatever. So I got an internship with them, and I got the job right out of college, and that ended all my civil service dreams, which in hindsight, all the guys that I grew up with, they're all retirement age now. They're all like, they got 20 years in on the fire department. They're lieutenants and whatever, making good money. And they're all on their boat today. And I'm sitting here making fucking toys.
Talking to us.
Talking to two losers in Chicago.
Talking to these two morons.
No, I didn't mean like that.
I do. I mean it that way.
But yeah, I mean, follow your dream. You can't be a cop. You can't be a fireman. You got to follow your dream. You got this ability to draw, whatever. I could have done it. I could have done it on the weekends. But I could have had a nice, steady job, So follow your dreams is a good thing, but have a plan B,
Yeah.
I'm going to be working until I'm, 80 or more.
Oh man.
I'm never going to be able to retire.
I kind of went, my grandfather was a Chicago police officer. My uncle was a Chicago police officer. My dad's a pharmacist. My mom's a nurse. Like, so it was always like, I could have done that. I could have went, and I'm like, I kind of want to be a teacher. I want to be an art teacher. I want to do something with art. And I kind of regret not doing the cop thing. And I kind of feel like I let the family legacy down. I've never really said this to anybody, but I kind of feel like I let that, like, we were a cop family there for a little bit. And I'm like,
no, I'm sure they're proud of you.
No, I know. No, I mean, just me, like that thing ended, and then not having kids. That's but I've had a very supportive family too. That, like, my dad will help me build the dumbest shit. It's like, it's good to have that in your life.
Yeah, because he needs someone there to read the tape measure. That's why.
No, I don't know. I don't have regrets. I guess I don't. Sometimes I think about it a lot.
You should. I think if you put all your work in front of you and just fill the room, like fill a stadium with everything you've ever done, you can sit back and go, oh my God, I made this. This is something to be
Yeah,
very
but
proud of. Like years from now, no one's going to remember some of that stuff those police officers did, but your artwork is going to stand. I want to
yeah,
talk.
not with my kids don't give a crap. It's going to get going in a dumpster. I'm telling you, as soon as I
That's
throw
fine.
it, right. So
Oh,
it
kids
is.
suck.
It's going right in the dumpster.
They're looking at you going, "What's Wacky Races and what's Popeye?" They don't know. George of the Jungle. What is that?
Kids are so weird.
They don't care.
They will one day. You mentioned something about being retrained by Disney, and that's something I had always heard, is that you have to do the Disney style of their, like, and how they teach their artists to do it like a Disney way. Was that hard, kind of going from what you want to do and what you like to do to here's what job is telling me to do?
Yeah, it was yeah, it was an eye opener. Animation is not for everyone. Some people loved it. There were people there who it became their whole life. They loved it, and I could see that. But I didn't want it in the first place. See, I was an idiot, but I was smart enough as a young kid to know to have a backup plan, a plan B. So I knew I wanted to be, Jack Davis or Frank Frazetta. I wanted to be that, or Mort Drucker was my hero, the Mad Magazine guys.
Mm-hmm.
But I knew that was such a long shot. These guys were like up here, and I was, everybody in the school wanted to be those guys. So I was going to be an art teacher. I took art ed as a minor.
Yeah.
And that's how I met my wife. She was in the art ed department. So I had a backup plan. I knew when I graduated, I was probably going to be able to freelance a little bit, maybe do some illustration, some book covers or whatever. But I was going to be an art teacher as my real job, my steady. Yeah. But I never had any interest in being an animator. And then when I got there, but it was a full-time job right out of school. And none of the other kids graduating had that. They were all going to be waiters and then try to pursue the art. And so I said, holy crap, I got a full-time job in-house at a good company right out of art school, which was like unheard of, with a good salary. And then I got there and I was like, holy shit, I made a mistake. I married my girlfriend, moved her down 1,000 miles away from her family. And we got there and they sat me at a desk. I got there I graduated on a Friday. On Monday morning, I was at my desk working on Beauty and the Beast. And they put a stack of drawings like this on my desk. And they were the roughs. The animator does the rough, right? I had to lay a sheet of paper over that, turn on the light box behind it, and do that little fine line, the cleanup line. Because back then it was all 2D by hand. And it was tedious, man. It was like I had to draw almost the same drawing if the character was just moving a little bit like that. I had to do almost the same drawing over and over and over 24 times to make 1 second of film. So I was just like, what the hell did I just sign up for? And it was a lot of books on tape and a lot of just like zoning out and tracing other people's drawings over and over and over. So the Disney style, I mean, you had model sheets pinned up all around your desk and it had to be on model. Everybody had to draw exactly the same. You couldn't have, Aladdin looking like Ernest Borgnine in one scene. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, but then I was there for a while and I started seeing these little statues show up on people's desks. And they were called animator maquettes. And they were done by a guy named Kent Melton. You guys ever hear of Kent?
Yes, I have.
Melton?
I've heard of Kent. Matter of fact,
if you like cartoon sculptures, this guy is the best.
Kent, I think I'm friends with him actually on Facebook, but he's also sculpted. There was a Walt Disney Collectors Club.
Right.
And I think I have some pieces sculpted by him.
Yeah,
but
he did.
Yeah, so I've seen a lot of his work, and
he is absolutely the best I've ever seen. But when it comes to that sort of animation characters, so I started seeing these maquettes on people's desks, and I said, "What the heck is that? Who does those?" And they're like, oh, it's some guy, he works in California, and and so a light bulb went off, and I was like, that's what I want to get into. But it was only him. There was only one guy doing all of these sculptures. So eventually, as the company started making money, Lion King came out, and that made a ton of money. Aladdin and all those 90s movies started really making money, and they started sinking money into animation again. The Florida studio, I was in the Florida studio. The Burbank studio was working on one movie, and the Florida studio got their own movie now. Now they were going to put 2 feature animation films out at the same time. So we got Mulan, and Kent said, I'm working on Hercules. I can't come back and forth across the country to do these sculptures. So I at night, I had been doing, Frankenstein and the Cyclops and shit. And I built up a little sculpture portfolio. So I knocked on the director's door, and I said, hey, you need a sculptor? Or, maybe give me a shot. And that's how I got into the sculpting. And they figured, they already got this kid on staff, and they're paying me already a salary, so we might as well use him. So that's how I got, and that opened a lot of doors. That was like the beginning of my sculpture life, and it got me out of the cleanup department, the animation, which I didn't like to begin with.
Yeah, that would drive me nuts. It's like a sweatshop.
Oh, it was tedious, man. It was so tedious.
So if we watch the credits on those movies, are we going to see Tony Cipriano on there? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Beauty and the Beast, Aladdin, Hunchback, Pocahontas, about 10 of them, I think.
Wow.
In the 90s. It's funny too, because I run into people now, and these are like 30-year-old people, and they're like, oh, that was my favorite movie when I was 3. And I'm like, you son of a bitch. Like, oh, did you work on The Beast? Oh my God, I loved him when I was 2 years old. I had to, get out of here.
I saw you mention something on your Facebook page the other day about how you like the rougher feel to your sculptures, the more like unfinished kind of look to it. And I think I've always liked that style as well. Whereas, and you went to art school, so you'll probably, I hope or I'm looking like an idiot too. Like, you take a Michelangelo that's perfect and pristine and smooth and everything's like flawless. And then you look at somebody like Rodin, who totally reminds me of your work, where it's very just rough, and you get the feeling, you can see that. And that's what I get from your work as well. It's very Rodin-esque, where there's the emotion in there, there's a feeling in there, there's a character that you can pull out of there a lot easier than where it's just, your simple Michelangelo David just standing there looking perfect. And there's just, I love that sort of, you can tell your hands were on it, instead of the flawless, just machine style.
Yeah. It's funny you say that, because I love that style, but you can't, that's another reason that I hesitate. I don't know if you saw the picture that I sent you guys of Dr. Pretorius.
Yeah, I've got it.
I was wearing. It's just like blobs of clay. His hair is just blobs of clay. And people are like, make a mold of that. Hurry up. I want a casting of that. And the Garage Kit guys, they want to paint everything, right? Yeah. And I'm doing it for me, first of all. I'm just doing it for fun. And if I could sell a couple, great. And you make the money back on the silicone. But these things look like shit when they're painted. They look terrible painted with full color.
You would almost have to bronze something like that.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean? Do a bronze paint up or something on that. So
like I did a Edgar Allan Poe, and the hair it's not sculpted. It's just like, a blob of clay smeared with my thumb. And I love that style. And it takes a lot of effort to walk away at that point.
Yes,
but I love it.
I know exactly what you're talking about, where you're like, I got to keep, there's that fine point where you've done too much and you're like, oh, damn it.
Right.
Yep.
And it sucks the life right out of the sculpture. If you noodle something, I remember like I was doing stuff for Sideshow, and I would rough it out in clay, and they would say, oh, that's great. Now finish it. And I would make a mold and pour wax into the mold. And then I'd start sanding and polishing, and it just lost everything. It just looked like a dead, lifeless, death mask.
Yeah.
that's the industry though. You gotta make it smooth. If you're gonna paint it, you gotta make it smooth. You can't leave it like that.
You've got that set of busts that Michael Reagan has now, I think.
Yeah.
I think there were 4 of them. Okay.
Yep.
And I don't know that I've seen those painted yet. But they have kind of a little bit of a rough feel to them, but they are finished, But I remember seeing them going, yeah, this is a nice, these have a cool look to them. Like you say, they have a life to them that,
Yeah,
You know-
he did. I did see them painted, and I don't think they're as successful as. And they were painted by some good painters too. I saw one guy did like that Basil Gogos kind of thing with the Frankenstein.
oh yeah, yep,
with the-
yep.
it goes from like a green to a yellow to a blue, and it looked really cool. I forget who painted it, but he also did them in bronze, and he gave them to Basil Gogos. He gave them.
Mhm.
Mike made like this trophy thing out of them and gave it to Gogos, and they look much better in bronze. I just don't. I can do it. I can do the polish stuff, but it just becomes work after that. Once I get the sculpture done, I walk away. I'm like, yeah, that's done, and I move on to something else.
Yeah.
But polishing it and it's no fun. It's no fun for me.
Well, I remember you did an interview with Rob at Wonderfest a few years back.
Yeah.
And I remember you even said there, that's the part of it you like. The
Yep.
smoothing and the finishing. You almost wish you could hand that to someone else and say, all right, here you go. Finish it up.
Yeah.
And be done. And
Yeah. Unfortunately, I probably lost a lot of work because I was always on the rougher side, and there were guys that could really make things like glass, and that's what the toy companies wanted. That you can't do little action figure that big and have like tool marks in it.
Yeah.
But now with digital, the playing field is just completely level now because there's a smooth brush, there's a smooth button.
oh yeah, well, I'm 5 in, like I told you yesterday when I talked to you. I'm like 5 in, and it's and it's like that smooth button must be a godsend for you
Oh
because
my
it's
God.
like just and you smooth it. Okay, done. There it is, done. And it's
Yeah.
knowing that you had knowing that I had seen that interview a couple of years back, and you had said, yeah, I just hate finishing, which is, if you've ever seen the video of Tony's studio, that's what you see on the shelves is a lot of sculptures that are just
They're done as far as I'm concerned.
they're done as far as he's concerned. But it's like, yeah, I mean, but for the Garage Kit guys, yeah, they'd want it more refined and
Right. They want to paint it, which is obviously they want to paint it as a kit.
And I think that's a great segue. How did you find Garage Kit stuff? Did you find it as a sculptor, as a job, or did you find it as, oh, this is cool, I want to make model kits, or like just that quick? How did you find this?
Yeah, it was around the same time I started at Disney. I started getting nostalgic for the Aurora kits, and there was this great comic book store in Orlando. There was a couple of good ones. One was called Sci-Fi World, and this other place had Aurora kits, original Aurora kits. And I was like, oh my God, I haven't seen these in years. And I loved those. I built Frankenstein at least a half a dozen times. I built King Kong a half a dozen times. My dad used to take me to this little mom and pop toy store on every Sunday. And he's like, didn't you build King Kong already? I'm like, yeah. No, I never had that one. And so what was I saying? Oh, so yeah, it was around the same time. And I had, in this comic book store, I saw Model and Toy Collector, and it might have been the first issue of Kit Builders, Gordy Dutt's Kit Builders, and what else? AFM wasn't even out yet.
Yeah. There was like Model Scene coming from the East Coast.
Oh my God, Model Scene.
It's like it was a small little magazine.
Yeah.
Remember that?
Wow. Yeah, I remember that.
And Paul Gill did a lot of work in that, I think. Like when I went back and looked at it, I see his name all over the magazine.
Yeah, I don't have any back issues of that.
I have like
Model. I remember that vaguely. But that's how I started seeing guys like Yeager and Tom Kuntz and Sean Nagel and Brian Moore and John Dennett. These are like, must have been early 90s, late 80s. And I was like, whoa, what are these guys doing? What is this? So I got some clay and I started just playing around with it. And in art school, and I went to School of Visual Arts in the 80s, there was no sculpture. There was no like traditional sculpture, which is what I wanted to learn. And, you know, they had a fine arts department, but it was like found objects and toilet seats hung on the wall. I'm like, what the hell?
I ran into the same problem because I went back for my master's degree and I'm like, I don't want to do anything with teaching. I want to do sculpting, which is what I've always wanted to kind of get into. And my stuff ended up being more abstract, but I wanted to learn traditional sculpture. And it's all found objects, making things like, I ran into the same thing.
And then when I went to Disney, you can imagine they had some of the best in the world. They had like guys from Russia and Croatia and China, and these guys were traditionally trained. The art schools over there would teach you actually how to actually paint and sculpt. And I was just like, whoa, man, I just wasted my time in art school because they weren't teaching that. They were not teaching traditional art methods.
Yeah, I feel the same way.
Anyway, I started. There was another guy at Disney who sculpted, and he would show me things, and I didn't know what the hell I was doing, man. I did A Creature from the Black Lagoon was like one of the first things I did in this oil clay, and you know the famous still where his hands are up like that. Mm-hmm. I did that, and it was big, and I was all proud of it, and I went to sleep. And I come back the next day, and he's just like, all bent over. I was like, who the hell bent my creature? Who did this? What the hell? Who did that? And it was like, I didn't put armature wire. I didn't even.
That's what I was going to just ask. Was it no armature wire?
Oh, I'm an idiot. I was an idiot. I had no idea what I was doing. And this is pre-internet, so I had to find books and stuff. I told Scott this yesterday. I called Mike Fasella at Resin from the Grave because he was advertising in all these, and he almost scared me right out of the business right then and there because he was like, "What do you want to be a sculptor for?" Forget it, you jerk! And he hung up on me. I was like, "What is this Garage Kid stuff? Who are these people?"
Yeah, exactly. Who are these people?
Who are these people?
Maniacs.
And so anyway, I started doing it, and I started teaching myself how to make molds and stuff. And it became obvious pretty quickly that nobody was going to get rich doing this, and nobody's going to, you really had to enjoy it.
Yeah.
And I wasn't enjoying it that much. I don't like to pour resin. I love to sculpt, but I try to make a few kits and put out a few kits on my own, but it became pretty clear pretty quickly that the best thing for me would be to just do the sculpture, give it to this guy, and let him, a flat fee, whatever. You don't have to pay me a royalty. Yeah. Just sell it to somebody and let them, make the molds and stuff like that. Which I did for a while. I did a bunch of kits for people, for Rob.
That guy. Off the top of your head, how many garage kits do you think you've sculpted?
Not that many. I don't think. Well, over the years, I started doing it in like 91 or so, maybe 24, maybe.
Okay.
Not that many.
Is there anything you turned down? Like, oh, I'm not doing that. That's the dumbest thing I've ever heard.
Oh, I did a bunch of fun stuff for Kid Kong. Is he still in business?
He is. Oh no, he's kind of out of business now. He's around, but I know he sold a lot of his stuff. So.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Remember I was telling you yesterday about Randy Guthrie. I know Randy bought some of it. I don't know what he bought, what he didn't, but I know James got away from.
Yeah. He was giving me some cool jobs, like a quarter scale Gorn and the Cyclops and But
you do an Imhotep too, didn't you? Wasn't there? Or no, an Artist Bay. Yeah. I'm sorry, Artist Bay.
Yeah, Artist Bay and Catwoman, Julie Newmar.
Yeah, I know. There's a guy, Marty. He says, "Tell Tony, man, I really want that Catwoman. I really want that Catwoman." And we weren't sure who did it. So
yeah, that was James.
It's Kid Kong, huh?
Yeah. So whoever's got his molds now has probably got that.
Well, and he's got some of them, but his thing was, he'd buy the sculpture from you, and then he'd pay a caster to cast them all. And the thing is, the guy was selling stuff really reasonable, compared to what everybody else was doing. I don't know how he was making any money.
Well,
So, but yeah, he's still out there. But I think he just kind of he's got health issues too. So I don't know what's,
Yeah.
where he's at right now. But,
Yeah, I did a bunch of stuff for him. I did a bunch of stuff for Rob, a bunch of Planet of the Apes busts, but yeah, I'm thinking about now with the 3D printing. I'm thinking about getting back into it a little bit because, like I was telling you, I press a button and I wake up the next day and I have a resin casting, a clean resin casting that's almost paint ready.
So let's talk about how you made the transition, because that same interview you did with Rob Madison, where Terry was interviewing you, I believe.
Yeah.
And back then, and it was so funny because I remember when he started doing digital stuff. I'm like, wait, he said, and I remember you saying, "Oh, I don't think I'll ever go digital. The feel of the clay, you really went into a rant about I'm never going digital." And then, like within a year, there's Tony doing digital.
There was no choice. There was absolutely no choice. It was that quick. I was either sink or swim. It was this was not. I tell people this was not. And to this day, there are still sculptors I know that are like, no, there's still a market for clay. There's still, and it was a game changer. It wasn't just another tool. It was a game changer. I had so much work, and all of a sudden it was like overnight, everybody was digital, and it was either sink or swim. So I bought a tutorial online, and I would have my little iPad playing the tutorial, and I would just work alongside it. I fought it. I did not want to. I just spent 20 years learning how to, do anatomy and clay and wax and the wax pen and make molds and stuff. And I didn't want to just shift gears like that. But it really just did an about face. And if you didn't learn digital, I don't know how these guys are staying, afloat. I couldn't do it. I couldn't get enough work, traditional work.
So Disney, all the major motion picture companies, it's all digital now for the most part, you think?
Pretty much.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I watched it happen in the animation industry.
Yeah.
They let go a lot of good animators, like traditional animators, who didn't want to learn the computer systems. The ink and paint department, remember they used to paint cells, the back of cell. It's all done click, in photo, like a program called CAD, I think it was called. And they just click on a field and would just fill it with color. And it just sped the whole process up. So it's progress. You either get on the train or you get left at the station.
So do you like it? Are you thoroughly enjoying it now? Or is it like, it's okay?
No, I'm all in now. It's easier to make changes. That's the big thing. Like if I did a quarter scale wax sculpture for Sideshow, and they said, well, let's put the weight on the other leg, I'm screwed. I'm like, okay, okay, thanks. I'll get back to you. And then I'm just like, I hang up the phone. I'm like, fuck, I got to start from scratch. I got to basically start a whole new sculpture.
Yeah.
But now in ZBrush, oh yeah, you want the weight on the other leg? There's a mirror button, and you click, and it flips the whole figure around. And now the weight's on the left leg. Boom.
Yeah.
So stuff like that, and like the smooth brush and there's a pores brush. Pores, like skin pores.
Mm-hmm.
In the past, I would have to take a little head like this with a pointy tool and just put pores on, and it would take a couple of days. Now there's a brush, you just wave the stylus over and your head is covered in like directional pores. It's beautiful. In like seconds, literally seconds. So yes, I drank the Kool-Aid.
And you drank it very much, because when we had Rob Madison on here a couple weeks ago, he said you had your class, and I remember seeing it before, And he's like, oh, it's on sale. So I went over there and I bought it like instantly. I haven't had a chance to watch much of it like Scott because I edit this thing and I don't have as much free time as Scott. So yeah, uh-huh.
Wow.
And then he's like, oh, I'm up to episode 5. I'm like, I've watched 45 seconds. But I think
I'm up to episode 5 and I'm ready to buy the $800 program.
I know that's kind of,
I don't know if I can do it, but I want to now. Okay. It's yeah.
And that's kind of where I was going with it. I think, and you just filled in a missing piece for me while we were talking, is that you have that art ed background and that you're able to do, because you've taught the classes with AFM and you did well with that. And you could see this video tutorial series you're doing is really well done. And it's put forth that if Scott's interested and thinks he could do it, like that's great. You've done a good job.
Thank you.
How did you like? Was that hard to get in and say, "Oh, I'm going to make a class. I'm going to make something so that everyone can do this"? Just kind of walk us through how you decided to do the class.
Well, those guys, it's called Creature Art Teacher, creatureartteacher.com, all one word. Those guys are friends of mine. Aaron he was one of the best animators in the Florida studio, and he was.
What's Aaron's last name?
Aaron Blaze, Blais. Unbelievable artist. He's a wildlife painter. He knows anatomy backwards and forwards. He directed a Disney movie called Brother Bear. I don't know if you ever heard of Brother Bear. So I've been friends with him for 30 years, whatever. That's his company. He gathered together all these former Disney animators and put together this online school. And I don't know how he does it. I don't know how they're selling these classes for like really reasonable prices. I mean, now they're on sale for like $10 and it's like, I don't know, 10, 12, 15 hours of content.
Yeah, I did not. That's what I did not expect. I thought it was going to be like a little like 20-minute thing, but it is a full on, like you just said, hours of stuff. Yeah.
So he's got all these former Disney guys like animators and storyboard classes and all sorts of Photoshop classes, all these courses. And he said, you want to do a sculpting class? I don't have a sculpting class yet. I said, hell yeah, man. So they came and they filmed for like a weekend and we did the ZBrush class first. And it's the best thing I ever did because it's generating some income. Like every month I'll get a check from those guys. And I guess he's selling them to students. That's why it's so inexpensive. He's making it available to like everyone. And he's got such a big following because it's like, learn from Disney animating, and everybody wants his courses. And then we did a clay one as a follow-up to the ZBrush one. We did a clay course, sculpting a big nude figure in clay. And so fortunately, Aaron and his partner Nick they know enough about the video end of it. I was just like a trained monkey. I was like, what do you want me to do? So yeah, it's a good thing. We're going to do more, I hope.
I think that's great. I think more people, I think with this, even just, they got two knuckleheads like us that bought it that really want. I was looking for something to learn how to do it, something easy. And I think the more of us that find this now, it's $10. Like it's a no brainer to pick it up to try and learn. The only problem is it's the program that costs that much money, but there are like the trials and stuff you can get.
I think you can get the trial and just see if you like it, but $800, if the course is still $800, every upgrade has been free since the beginning. It's a great software. I mean, even if you just get it, like Scott, if you just want to do like a base, you could take like a primitive shape, like a cylinder or something, and you could add rocky terrain or whatever, or tombstones and stuff like that, and then throw it on your printer, and you got instantly. Or if you get a sculpture, you could cut it up and put keys in it and throw it on your printer, And now there's like all these websites where you could get free STLs, free. Or like Scott was saying, like you get a beautiful Godzilla for like $20. You get the STL if you have a 3D printer. So yeah, it's a great thing. I think I still use clay for myself. I still do some stuff for me, but it just makes sense to do it digitally. Everything is so much easier. You don't have to even ship boxes anymore. You could just send the file.
Yeah. Wow.
So I think you guys would like it. If you could draw, you could use ZBrush. The truth is, it's almost more like drawing than it is sculpting. Almost. I
so
mean, yeah.
The next thing I was wondering if you tried, and I always see this, and I have a feeling you haven't tried it. Is the VR? Have you seen the guys doing it with the VR helmet on? And then there's another program that's like ZBrush, but you have like you can walk around the thing and manipulate it with your hands a little more.
Yeah, I have seen that. I don't know how it works. I've never tried it.
Yeah, it looks really cool.
It looks kind of interesting. Maybe a little gimmicky. I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know.
We'll see.
Actually,
it probably is. I'll bet it. I'm sure it is. But to be able to like make a room and then you could walk around, I don't know. Seem kind of.
Say you'll never do it.
Yeah.
No, you'll never do it.
Say it. You'll never do it. Right?
Yeah.
Never say never.
We're gonna see you with the helmet on, walking around.
Yeah, that was a weird time when I did that sit down with Robin and Terry at Wonderfest. That was right around that time when it was like I didn't know what I was going to do because it was digital was like there and I hadn't learned it yet. And the boat was leaving the dock and I was like, I don't know. And they're asking me, well, what are you going to do now? I'm like, I don't know. I don't fucking know. You want to hire me?
I know when you started the first couple episodes of that, you were using the mouse. Then you went to the stylus. Do you need an expensive stylus to start out with? Can you buy a cheaper one just because, it's more control like a pen,
No,
and work yourself up and
absolutely not. I for years, I know guys use a Cintiq, the big Cintiq tablet where you actually draw right on the glass. I don't even have one of those. We had them at work at Disney, but I didn't like it. I've been using this. It's a little shitty Wacom. Can you see that?
Yep.
Wacom, and it's an old one too. So like really old, and it's fine. And the pen, I got the tablet. There's the stylus, and there's the tablet. I just got a spare one just in case, for like $30 on eBay, and you just plug it in, and I got 1, 2, 3 monitors. One monitor I have my reference, one monitor I have ZBrush, and the other monitor I have Netflix. And I love working from home.
Working from home.
I love it.
So where are you now? Like, what's the future? What are you working on now? Trying to focus on where are you headed?
Well, like I say, working from home is awesome. And if that's going to be like the future, if I could work from home and have a full-time job with a steady paycheck. I freelanced for 20 years and it was like this. It was like peaks and valleys. And the valleys, when you have 3 children and 3 dogs and a house in New York, and it was like stressful. It was like really, what would happen would be, Slideshow would give me a bunch of jobs, and they paid well. The jobs paid well, but it could be like a month, 2 months, maybe 3 months before the thing was approved and you got the check, So the bills on the dining room table would pile up like this, and then you'd get a big check and the bills would go back down, and then the bills would go like this again. But my credit score was just keep going in one direction. Credit score was dying. And my alcohol bill was going up. So I want a full-time job. I'm done with freelance. Freelance is for the birds. It's for a young man with no family, living in an apartment. That's a good freelance is a good gig for a young kid. But I'm too old for that now. I want a paycheck now. So we'll see. I don't know. Right now I'm freelancing. I got plenty of work. I'm doing stuff for Hallmark, a lot of Christmas ornaments, and NECA toys. A lot of cool stuff, a lot of Ninja Turtle stuff. And it's fun. It's just like, I sit in the basement, I watch my monster movies, and I make toys. But I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen with Disney and Universal. I think they're going to ramp up the new theme parks again, and they're talking about restaffing. They're talking about bringing a lot of people back. They just fired everybody.
Well, I was going to say,
Disney,
when they fired everybody, was it with a promise of perhaps bringing you back, or you guys are done, we're just going to find new people? How did it go?
yeah. Well, Disney, my friends at Disney got furloughed.
Yeah.
And that was, last year, and they're just starting to trickle back now, I think. They're still at home. They're not back in the building yet, but Universal just said, just like, and I left Disney to go to Universal. Stupid me. And all the Disney guys are back at work, and all the Universal guys are still, wondering what's going to happen. But
Wow.
as a Universal monster fanatic, I thought, maybe I should go over to that company instead of Mickey Mouse and Cinderella. Maybe I could work on Frankenstein and the Wolfman. So I jumped ship. But a lot of people do. They bounce back and forth. They're both right there. And I don't know. I don't know what the future is going to hold. We might go back. We might go back to Florida. I might stay up here and just work from home. But the thing is, with the theme park work, I was doing a lot of work in clay. I was actually in this big model shop, and I was doing a lot of the stuff for the parks, statuary and stuff like that in clay. But if I could work digitally and work from home, that's a bonus. I might even still go back to Florida anyway, because I liked it. I liked it there. I was starting to get really comfortable there.
Yeah, wait till you get about 3 feet of snow and it's below zero. You're gonna say, "What the fuck?" Man?
I know. Well, that's this idiot that I am. The Florida summers are like 1,000 degrees, right? And the New York winters are like fucking Antarctica. So we leave Florida in December when it's beautiful, when it's cool and 70 degrees, and we come up to New York and we get like 2 feet of snow in the first week we're here. And I was like, what are we doing? Why am I such an idiot? I'm almost 60 years old. You would think I would learn by now, but I haven't. So
let me ask you a quick question. It's a blast from your past. You did a bronze statue. Was it James Arness?
Yes.
That was like and where is that now? And I know the pictures are somewhere, so we'll make sure we put them up here. But how was that process? I mean, that's crazy.
It was. That was always been a dream, is to do like a life-size bronze. And I love Gunsmoke. I used to watch it every day. It was on TV Land every day from 2 to 4. And I love James Arness. He's like the coolest guy ever. So I did a sculpture just on my own of Marshall Dillon, and I put it on Facebook, I think. And one of my Facebook friends lives in Dodge City, and he happens to be in charge of the Dodge City Trail of Fame, whatever. And they have a bronze of Wyatt Earp and Doc Holliday. Gunsmoke takes place in Dodge City, so they said, let's do Marshall Dillon. And it was nice. It was really, his family was there. His wife was there. I only regret he passed away only a couple of years ago. I wish he was alive. I would have been over the moon to meet him. But it was fun. And the nice thing about that was I just did an 18-inch maquette, like about that big. And I sent it to the foundry. And they have some process where it wasn't scanned digitally. I think it was some old process that they've been using for hundreds of years. Like they take these points, like these pointers, and they measure. I don't know the process, but they enlarged it basically. They carved foam and they covered it with clay, and they sent me a life-size clay sculpture, UPS, and in big boxes. And it was light. I mean, I have a picture of it sitting in my car. Like I sat the torso and the head and the hat in my car, like he's driving the car. But I mean, I could throw the torso up in the air and catch it like a beach ball. It was that light. It was all foam with only about that much clay over it. So I finished it in my garage in Florida, put it back in the box, and shipped it back to the foundry in Kansas. And it was nice. They cast it in bronze, and they had like a big ceremony, and his family came, and it was really nice. A couple of the people, I was hoping Burt Reynolds would show up. He was on the show, but he was too frail at the time.
Yeah.
But a couple of the other guys from the show were there, and it was kind of cool. So I got that out of my system. I'm never going to do a life-size thing again. It was too much work, and I'm lazy.
Yeah. Well, I know there's another larger project you're working on, still in clay. That.
He's right over there.
Stop teasing me. So,
I
see him. I see him in the corner. Bastard. So
there he is.
Yep. So,
wait, how big is that?
Oh, it's
Sit right there. Don't go away.
Oh, if you drop it, that'll be the end. Okay.
Scott's getting a boner.
Oh, dude, you should see that. I'll put the pictures up, but
He's about
18 inches. Yeah.
He's if he stood up, he would be about 21 inches, I think.
Okay.
That is awesome.
He's got no teeth and no eyes, but you get the idea. Oh yeah, he does have his eyes in there.
That is so cool.
Yeah, I'll finish it. I just got some more.
You're on Scott's death list if you don't finish that. He's
Scott might end up getting involved in it, so don't worry about it.
Right.
Yeah, man. Why don't you help me out, you bastard?
So Scott's got a road that's big enough to handle it. So yeah, that might end up happening. So
I think I just got a hernia.
So you did this Aurora box art that Todd Powell bought, and it's really cool, based on the Neil Adams box art. And so what was that? Just an Aurora love, just a kind of a project, and then you put it out there, and
yeah, I think I don't think he commissioned that. I think I was just having fun. I always loved that artwork. I always loved the Superman box and the Hulk box and the Superboy. The Superman box, I think, was based on Kurt Swan, not the photo one, the other one, the cartoon one.
Oh, okay, yeah, the rarer one, the
Kurt Swan one. Todd said, "Can I produce that?" I said, "Yeah." No, actually, I approached him. I actually asked Rob if he wanted to do it. I didn't know. I don't know. I'm out of the loop, man. I don't know who makes kits anymore. I thought Rob was making kits. I thought you were making kits. I don't know who makes kits anymore. So I'm looking for somebody I could trust.
So as soon as my job is done, it definitely, there's a steady flow of work there if I want it. And I have a separate garage. I even have a furnace out there I can hook up. I got a gas line run out there. So, I can make it a great shop, and it's just a question of doing it.
And you can apprentice me.
Yeah, because you're such a great learner.
Well, I have to.
So you have to do some math, right? You have to put 2 ounces in this cup and 2 ounces.
That's what you're there for.
Yeah. So, hey, I found Tony this Igor. Was this a bust? It's just a face. I found it on the one Facebook page, and it's an Igor bust. And
Hello, Lugosi.
Yeah, Lugosi Igor. And
that was for Tony Salsines.
Okay. All right.
Recently. I liked Tony. I always liked Tony. He gave me one of my first garage kit jobs back in the early 90s. It was a Frederick March Mr. Hyde bust.
Okay.
He just passed away recently. I did a few kits for him. I did the Revenge of the Creature. I did that Igor bust and the Ghost of Frankenstein companion piece to it. On Chaney Frankenstein. I did a thing, the James Arness thing for him. I don't know who has his molds. Also, a big Tor Johnson, a big half-scale Tor Johnson. He did.
Yeah, I know they got some of them got sold off. I know Norbert got some.
Oh yeah. Rob told me somebody has
some of it. But,
some of it. I don't know. I don't know what happened to those.
So let's ask you about cartoon kits, because you seem to have the same love of cartoon kits that I do.
Yeah.
And
Well,
Chicago,
I bet you Chicago had the same TV schedule as New York. Like, what was it, WGN you had in Chicago?
WGN, and then we also had WFLD, which is our UHF channel.
Mm-hmm.
It's our Fox channel now, but at the time, it was a UHF channel. But that's where we got a lot of the Batman and stuff like that.
Yeah, you guys seem to have this like a sister channel, same Bozo and Popeye and
Bozo's from here, buddy.
Speed Racer,
and
it's all that stuff. But Underdog, obviously.
Yeah, man.
And I don't know how many of you remember you did an Underdog and a Riff Raff.
Oh yeah, that's a whole nother chapter. I thought I wanted to be Randy Bowen for a while. I got a license and I started manufacturing stuff in China, and I was like, "Whoa, this is not for me, man." I was like, "I'm no businessman. I just want to sculpt, and here you go, you do it." But for a while, I was doing stuff for Randy, and he would pay me a flat fee. And then he would sell 2,000 pieces and make a fortune. And super nice guy. And I said, this can't be rocket science. I mean, you pay up for a license, you get a factory in China, and I did. I walked into King Features Syndicate in New York City with a little Popeye sculpture, and I put it on the guy. I said, "Can I speak to the licensing vice president?" And they were like, "Oh, you have an appointment?" I was like, "No." And they got him on the phone. He comes out. He goes, "Who the hell are you?" I said, I took Popeye out of that. I said, "Can I talk to you about licensing this?" He goes, "Oh." And this was back, nobody wanted to license Popeye or Underdog. Nobody even remembered these guys back in the 90s. And he's like, come right in. How much money you want to give me?" So I gave him a couple of grand and I licensed it. And then you had to take a leap of faith, because I had to send a lot of money. I took a business loan, and I had to send a lot of money to China. And I had never done that before. And I'm just on pins and needles wondering, is that the end of my money? But pretty soon,
bye-bye.
A tractor trailer pulls in front of my house with pallets and starts filling my garage with Popeye statues. And I was like, what the hell? How am I going to do this? And my wife's just shaking her head. But I didn't sign up for this. And I'm like, don't worry. Bowen does it. I could do it. Don't worry. So fortunately I had Diamond took a whole bunch. Diamond distributors, they took a whole bunch at wholesale. And I did Underdog after that, and I did Space Ghost after that. And then I said, I can't, it's just too much. I was spending more time, on the phone playing businessman instead of sculpting. And I said, nah, I'm not, I don't want to be Randy Bowen.
Wow.
So anyway, I'm sorry.
No, that's good. So I think that's a cool quality, not a cool quality, to know when something's not for you. Because there's so many people, I think, that will go, I'm going to keep trying. And then you get discouraged and it crashes. That's honorable.
Well, I took a shot. What the hell,
Did you want to try and do a live demo here for us at all?
Okay, I could.
Okay,
load something up.
All right. Tony's going to share with us just a quick, little intro to ZBrush. We're not expecting anything huge from here, but just for anyone, because there's a lot of us modelers, not me, but the older generation may have never even seen what we're talking about or how this program works or anything. So just a quick introduction to say what you can do, or just show us something real fast for someone who has never seen ZBrush before.
Okay, well, this is a piece I'm working on. I don't think the client will mind, because we've already shown previews of it. This is a Frazetta piece that I'm doing for Quarantine Studios.
Okay, that's great, because we'll link to them too. So you're doing this for Quarantine?
Yeah, Paul
Okay.
Paul Connor at Quarantine. This is a Frazetta statue. The base is just kind of roughed out. The base is not has no detail yet, but I just wanted to show like what a great software this is. You could bring in. Let me see if I could turn on my reference. Yeah, it kind of blew up, but anyway, you could see I brought in the actual painting, and you could put that like right behind the model. It's sort of at the wrong angle. There we go. There we go. So you could put your reference like right in there next to the model or behind the model. And let me see if I could isolate the cat, and I could slide the reference right behind the model if I wanted to, and blow it up, and just like move. Like if this was off a little bit, if
And you can do it in parts too, like because you have the head separate from the body, and then you kind of.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's how I normally work. Here's another one. This is another one for Quarantine. Another Frazetta piece.
Oh yeah. Okay.
But you can see like there's the head. Can you see that? Is that
Yeah.
popping up?
Yep.
There's the hand. And each piece is sculpted separately. Like I can isolate each piece, and there's the torso. That's just the seam in the torso, and you break it down like that. And this started out as just a sphere, just like geometric shapes.
Okay.
What I liked is how you could put the reference behind it and then kind of make it
Yeah, that's a cool. That's
transparent, so you can kind of see through it. And
yeah. So this is a Harryhausen thing I'm just working on for myself, and this I haven't broken symmetry yet. That's another beautiful thing about digital is you see the cursor, you see the red cursor on the right arm, and you see the little one on the left arm. Like whatever I do to one side is going to mirror on the other side. So the little warts are not part of the arm, so they're not moving. I would have to merge that down. But that's a really nice feature to get. If I'm just sculpting all this little scales and shit like that on the right arm, the machine is doing it on the left arm. So that's a really nice feature. And then at the end, I can go and break the symmetry and pose this arm differently from this arm. But it just saves so much time, and you can't do that traditional. But
it keeps your proportions all the same too. Your legs are the same length, your arms are the same length.
Right. Right. Yeah. That's huge. And like these little spines on his back, I would have to make those one at a time, but I just made one, and just there's a duplicate button right here. Duplicate and just slide it down, and I'm done in like, I did the whole spine in seconds, whereas with wax, I would have to make one, then drip some more, make another. I have to make each one of these little bumps, one at a time. So there's a lot of benefits to working digitally, and I'm sold. It is kind of more fun to work in clay, but for production purposes, I think digital is the way to go.
This still though, this still, there's got to be cool stuff. Like I see the texture you have, and okay, even on this one, the texture you have in her dress. Okay, and that's just a brush, right? That's nothing. You're like,
yeah.
That's just a texture brush that you put in there, and.
Let me show you that. It all comes with the software. I mean, you can download any texture you want these days, and you can get it for free. But let me just append. I just appended a sphere. That's what basically all of these parts started with a sphere. What are those? Those are her buttons. Those are the stitches on her dress.
Oh wow. Okay.
There's her dress. And this all started with a sphere. All of these little parts pretty much started with a a sphere. There are her legs and her shoes. That's the base. That started with a cube. 2 spheres. I don't even know what that is. I don't even know what that's her neck, I guess. Yeah. And you can see that, like the head, you can isolate them. That's a sphere. Hasn't changed too much. The eyes are spheres that I just flattened out. That was a cylinder, the teeth.
And,
so you get the idea. You get
about
the idea.
5 episodes in, and you've done a lot of this already, just in 5 episodes. As far as showing the spears and how you copy and all that, in the class. I just want to mention that. Yeah, you're not at the finished product yet, like this is, but I've watched 5 episodes, and as you're doing this, I'm like, oh yeah, I know what he's talking about because I watched the.
Yeah, I'm hoping that you watch a lot of tutorials. This was one of my problems learning. A lot of these tutorials, the guys they're great artists, but they're really not such great teachers. And they either go too fast or they just assume stuff.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what the hell are you talking about? What does that mean, Dynamesh? I don't know what that means. And then I gotta go hunt down and find the button. There's the Dynamesh button. What does it do? And so I try to go slowly and deliberately and kind of explain where everything is. Now I set up this interface. All these buttons are not default. All these materials and brushes are not there by default. I dragged them over here. Here's your brush menu. So you can imagine how intimidating this was at first to see 100 brushes here.
God, I just saw bricks. You got broken bricks. You got bricks clean.
Hands. Mickey's hands. You got any kind of Mickey Mouse hand. There it is. It just appeared there.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, there's bricks, there's body parts, I'll never sculpt an ear again. Why would I sculpt an ear? Why would I spend like an hour sculpting an ear when I could just bring one in and slap it on?
So did you make that original ear and you save it, or does that come with the program?
Yeah. I made like a blank figure or a buck. But you can get them. I mean, they come with the software. It comes with a lot of stuff. Comes with this guy, comes with this girl, comes with a soldier, an anime style, comes with a dog. It's really an amazing software.
Excellent.
But all of these brushes, I use maybe only like this handful of them, and not even. I stick with pretty much one brush. But let me just show you quickly. That Mickey Mouse hand was a sphere. There we go. So you can see the mesh. This is what they talk about when they talk about the mesh. It's like a cage, right? You could see if you turn that mesh off, you could kind of see how faceted that is. You see that?
Mm-hmm.
That means you have a very low resolution. You only have 8,066 little polygons, or maybe it's vertices. I don't know. But if you jack that up, if you divide this a couple of times, now I'm at 520. Now I'm at 2 million. That's how you can get your detail. Once your model is very high resolution, that's how you start to get your detail. So I'm just going to grab like this texture. Let me grab a texture. I'm going to use a freehand stroke, and I'm going to use this. Let's try this texture. And it's that, like if you're doing like a reptile or something, or a monster, I may even use that alpha for the emir that I just showed you. I think this was her dress on a large scale. You see that little pebbly texture in her dress?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I think that it was that thing. And Control Z, you can go backwards and erase any mistakes you make. It's fantastic. You got leather textures, you got the fur texture. This was that cat that I just showed you, that Frazetta cat.
Mm-hmm.
You could draw it on, or you can kind of drag it out. You could play with the intensity.
Oh, can you show the smooth real quick? So, like, if you,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah.
So if you hold down Shift, you could just smooth everything out. And it's gone. So nice.
I didn't even mean to interrupt, but I just thought that was so cool that
No, that's fine. That's what I'm showing you, these little alphas and stuff. And here's the pour brush. Where's that pour brush? Fingerprints. I don't know if you could see that. I might have to jack up the intensity. No, not really working. Stitches, there's like rope. Oops. You know, and you could just drag out a rope, and it's amazing.
wow.
Oh, wow. That's
like
a
cheating.
time saver.
Right? It's like cheating.
Can you imagine trying to sculpt that with clay?
Right, exactly. There's stitches.
I know I see chain. I just saw chain and
Now a lot of these don't come with the software. A lot of these you get them online, and there's tons of people out there just for free. They're just free. Chain brush, here it is. I think that's it.
yeah, that's the one I saw. So it's, what do I know?
But
I'm only 5 classes in. I'm a D at best. But now I'm looking. You have different chains then up there on the upper left, spike chain and
yeah, there's that one.
Nice. That's a good chain.
thick chain, and
This is the good Frankenstein one. In fact, I used this chain for King Kong for the cuff on his.
okay.
And I printed it out. I did a couple of links and I printed them, and that's going to be part of that King Kong model. But you could see how cool it is and how deep the software is.
And then you can bury that rope. Like if you wanted to bury that rope into that spear, you can, like halfway or whatever. If you want, correct.
You can isolate it. You can isolate it, and let's see. Split hidden.
See, I've been watching, Tony. I'm not bullshitting. I've been watching. See, because
You know your stuff, man.
Well, I've been watching. I don't know my stuff, but I've been watching, so I know you can do some stuff. So
yeah, you could bury that in there. You could. It's just a great software. I can't, and I don't work for them. Believe me, I'm not trying to pimp ZBrush, but it's great. It's just awesome.
Well, thanks, man. Thanks for sharing. I
So-
think that's something that people, just to get the concept in their head of what it actually does.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You want me to just show you one more little
Sure.
thing?
Yeah, for sure.
sure.
Find it.
I don't care. Jason's got to edit it all. I know. I give a shit.
You can see how many iterations too. I mean, I have like 200 versions of this. So that's because if the software crashes, I don't want to lose hours and hours of work. So I save like every 5 minutes. I save. Let me see if I cut this up yet. Let's see if I could isolate. See, I cut this up for Todd, so it would be easy for him to print. But I don't. Yeah, I did. I put the keys in already. So
that
that's
thing looks
just
cool as hell.
Are you familiar with the Neil Adams box art?
I really like that
reference. No,
I didn't know it was Neil Adams till a while back. Because I thought Kirby did the Captain America.
Yeah, that was Kirby.
And then Ditko maybe did the Spider-Man. I'm not sure, unless it was Romita or somebody else.
Yeah, I think you're right.
I think. Oh shoot, I forgot who did that now. But
this was based on, it was Kirby's design of Hulk, but it was Neil Adams did it.
Right.
But anyway, you could see the key. This key was just a cube, and I tapered it, and then you cut the arm off, and you could punch it. You put the arm back next to the body, and you punch it out, and it leaves the impression of that key in the body.
Oh,
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I thought it was a different process. That's good to know.
It's called boolean, live boolean, and you could see the keys, and that's the male
Is
key.
it
on
hard
the
to
bottom.
cut the arm off initially? Like, how does that work?
No, it actually is not. You just mask it off. If I wanted to cut this leg off, you just hold down Control. I'm on a Mac, and you mask it off like that. Or you could do it freehand. Let's see. If I wanted to make the cut, kind of like wavy or something, or follow a seam,
Okay.
I could do it by hand, like that or something, and then I just isolate that color, and I go like that, and all I got to do is split it. I split it and I hit close holes, and it will close. The machine will close the hole, and then I get a separate part.
Wow.
So that's it. I think this is pretty much what he went with. I don't think we cut it up any more than this. But that's the other nice thing is I sent him these print files. I sent them, right? You can see how they're named: right arm, left arm, pants, left leg, right leg. And he's going to print. He might print the smoke in clear. I think I forget what he said he was going to do. I gave him a couple of different options for the nameplates, either Hulk or the Aurora. But that's the nice thing. Once he's got these STL files, he could print it at 1/6. He could print it at 1/4. He could print it at like a miniature, like a little tiny 2-inch figure, which I think he's going to do. I think he's giving people the option of what size they want to buy the kit at.
So let me ask you this, and guys, I know we're probably running long, but so when you did those logos, did you import the logo as just a 2-dimensional, and then there's a way to?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
All right.
I will show you quickly if you want to see it real quick.
Sure.
I
don't care. I'm not editing it. Go ahead.
Can you see the ZBrush screen again?
Yep.
There's a feature. It's a plugin. Let's see. I got the spinning wheel here. Oh, it's auto saving. See, ZBrush will save your work for you every 20 minutes. I have it set for 20 minutes because I learned the hard way. I've lost like a lot of work.
I've done editing. I make sure. Same thing. I'm like, oh God.
So they have this plugin. It comes with the software, and it's called. I actually went to the internet and I went to Google Images and I took a picture of the box art, the Aurora. I actually Googled Aurora logo, and I brought it in as a Photoshop document, I think. And you could create 3D from type. It's amazing. Or if you want to do your own, ZBrush has a plugin here called 3D Text 3D. You could pick your font.
Mark Kalin is not too happy.
Killing us right now. Yeah.
He's like, oh,
Yeah, he's not going to be happy about this. What does he still do? The rubber stamp thing?
Yeah. Oh no, he does.
He has a photo etching kind of thing, like a.
Yeah, he's got a machine.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool.
It's like soy based, like plastic. Like it's a long process, but it looks really cool.
But again, if you don't have a 3D printer, this doesn't do you any good. So but if you have a 3D printer, garage kits suck. Yeah, no, he's not angry or nothing. So.
I'm only kidding. I love.
No, leave it. That's perfect. Let's make that nameplate.
So anyway, you can see how quick I just typed it. I hit a button, and boom, it's like 3D. It's a 3D, and
wow.
I could slap that on a kit. And if I had,
or you could put it on like a flat slab, right? So if you had a square.
Yeah.
Okay.
I could put it on a flat slab and make like a nameplate, or if it was like a rounded object. There's something called a matchmaker brush, and you just run it over this, and it will bend the letters to match what's behind it. It's amazing.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So I'm going to put this on a T-shirt and wear it to Wonderfest.
Yeah. And then walk out of there all angry going, I don't know why I didn't sell anything. I had good stuff.
I want that shirt, actually.
Anyway.
So anyway, thanks for joining us today, Tony. Is there contact info Where can we see your work? Where do you contact you to get work, hire you, plug everything you want to plug?
Okay, well, the classes, if you guys want to take the ZBrush class or the sculpture class, I forget how many hours. I think it's over 10, 12 hours of content. It's at creatureartteacher.com. And you could just, in the search bar, you could just put sculpting or my name.
And we'll link to it below if people want to jump in. So
okay. And it's ridiculously cheap at this moment. I think they're having a sale. It was like $30 for both classes, and they're normally like $50 each, I think. But it's like hours and hours of content. And I think you can get a ZBrush trial for free for like 30 days. I'm not sure.
Yeah, there is a 30-day.
I don't think you got to buy the whole software yet if you just wanted to try it out.
Yeah. My plan is to watch them all and then maybe do that. But that way, and even though I might not, and like I told you yesterday, Z-Remesh, I mean, it's say it one more fucking time, say Z-Remesh one more time, but it's repetitive. And the thing about repetitive is it'll stick with you, so that's what I like about it. And
yeah, that's a good plan.
Times when I'm even watching you going, okay, isn't it time to Z-Remesh now? And stuff like that, or or your topography is messed up, Tony. You got to fix that. It's and this is after 5 episodes, and trust me, I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about. But
I don't either. That's why I'm surprised. I'm just wondering if I'm telling people the wrong thing, because I taught myself how to use stupid software. Yeah. Basically, I don't know if I'm sure it's advanced. There are functions in the new versions of ZBrush that I don't use because I'm scared. I'm like, what the hell is that button? And everybody's like raving about this new button. And I'm like, I'm not going to use that. I don't like change. I just don't. So I'm probably telling people the wrong stuff, but whatever gets the job done, right? Whatever.
Well, and the thing is, someone once told me, you can learn something from everybody. So they can, and for $10, geez, like you say, all this time, and so you watch this, and then if you want to go watch 100 YouTube videos, whatever, you take something that works from you, what Tony did, you take something that works from you, whatever else did, and you put it together and make your own thing, But
how do people get a hold?
I think it's easy to follow, so I like it.
How do people get a hold of you, Tony?
Well,
if you want them to get a hold of you.
Yeah, I don't think I'm taking on any commissions right now, any private commissions.
Okay.
I'm doing the toy work is keeping me really busy. So, and the bigger companies like NECA and Hallmark, they pay well. So I don't think I'm going to be taking on too many things. I do have the only web presence I have is Facebook.
Okay.
It's Tony Cipriano Sculpture is the business page. That's where all the sculpture stuff is.
Okay.
My website is down right now. So yeah, leave me alone.
I know how you feel.
Wait,
I know exactly.
Unless you want to buy one of the sculptures that's up there already, right?
No, I'll be back. I will be back. I was talking to Scott about Wonderfest. And I heard Terry and Dave say that they think attendance is not going to be so hot this year, or what's going on? The dealer tables not sold out yet, or what's going on?
They didn't look sold out when I checked a couple. Well, when this
a
month ago,
I want to get back
they didn't look sold out. And people are talking. I mean, I think it's 50-50 everyone I talk to. Some people will be there, some people won't be there. So it's going to be a dice roll, I think, on this one.
Hey, you show up, I'll buy you Mark's Feed Store. We'll go get barbecue.
Oh yeah, that was pretty good, that place, if I remember right.
The feedback.
Not much to do in Louisville these days.
No, but no, I'm hoping to see some of these cartoon characters. Get you to printing and.
Yeah, I'm going to start small. I'm going to start with that because they're smaller pieces and they're easy to print and they're not too crazy detail. So I think I'm going to start with those and see how it goes. If I could get a couple of them printing at night and wake up in the morning and put them in a flat rate box and send them out, I think I could handle that. If I don't have to pour resin, I'm back in business.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
Fantastic.
But the King Kong is another story, and those monster busts, the half scale monster busts, I'm gonna have to make really lightweight molds and see how that goes.
If you don't do that Kong, Scott is going to be. I'm just telling you now.
You'll be
I will hear
driving.
about it the rest of my life. I don't want to. So
And I like my own Kong, but
Yeah.
that one
that's
is
a
just,
good companion. Like, okay, me out
it's a
of
good
this whole
companion
thing,
piece.
it
Yeah.
is a perfect companion piece to your Kong. So it's, yeah, I think that thing needs to be made at some point. Thank you so much for joining us. And I honestly, truly, again, I've said this a few episodes now, an honor to have you on. And
Thank you.
thank you for letting us two
You
idiots.
gotta raise your standards, man. You gotta raise your bar.
Oh, no.
Well,
Oh,
we're trying to get
trust me.
Rotundi on, but
Oh, that would be funny.
Oh, God.
He's a
But-
great guy.
Yeah. Thank you, man. Thank you so much. And good luck with
Okay.
everything. And we'll be talking to you.
Yeah.
So, Scott, Tony, thoughts?
Tony was I had done a walkthrough with Tony with the Zoom thing like the day before, was it?
Yeah, it was the day
I think-
before.
And so I talked to him like an hour and a half that day. And
I think he's lonely. And he's
well,
because he talked to you and he talked to us.
either that or I'm lonely, and he
Yeah.
humored me. I don't know, but no, Tony's a great guy, and you know, I have a few model kits he sculpted. I also have statues, and I think he talks about the Mad Monster Party toys in the interview,
Yeah.
and I have those. So I do have things he's done, but a lot of things he's done have just I've seen as unfinished things, and like the King Kong, and it's like you better finish that thing. But Tony's a good guy, and pressure him. Tell him you want his stuff, because
Yes.
as you saw in that slideshow at the beginning, there's a ton of cool stuff, especially if you're a fan of the cartoons that I am.
And
So,
and I think Tony's a little hesitant because he doesn't know what to charge, how to get it out there, and what the interest is in things. So if you are interested in anything you saw, drop him a line on his
Mhm.
Facebook page, and please support him. He's a really, really cool dude. And thank you, Tony, for coming on. I
and
really
for
do
3
appreciate
days after the interview, he kept posting new pictures, and I'm like, "You're killing me."
it.
And he's like blaming me. He goes, "Well, it's your fault." So I think we lit a fire under him, and
Yeah, I think so too.
we'll get him going. But you know, keep stoking that fire. We want to keep stoking that fire. I
Yeah.
want to see more Tony stuff out there. A, because he's a good guy, and B, because he's really good at what he does. So
Yeah. Thank you again. Emails and corrections. What was that correction again? We had a price wrong.
the Superman, the George Reeves Superman,
My glass.
that Charlie Robson, he had said it is 200, not 225. And you think I would know that being on the list and all, but you know,
All right.
whatever. The money just goes out. It's like, there you go.
I wish it was like that for me. First email, Kendall Connor. So we talked about him earlier with the bride thing. He also is sending us a couple things to give away, like I said. And one of them, he went ahead and made magnets of the show to give away for prizes or to put in with other boxes. And so those are on the way. And thank you, Kendall. Like we really do appreciate it. I can't wait to stick one of those on my refrigerator. And we will give some of those away as well. I'll keep one for myself for sure. But that was very cool. Very cool. He also sent along this picture of him wearing the shirt from Monster Jones.
Wow. Oh, you actually sent it.
I did. You guys, seriously. He's at thin ice today. What's going on?
Yep. The sarcasm
I'm-
pill worked good today.
I'm taking applications for Scott's replacement.
Mhm. Go ahead. I'll go play for Denver.
Uh-huh.
Me and Aaron
Uh-huh.
Rodgers.
But thank you, Kendall. And he's got more stuff coming, so we'll have that next episode. So
Oh, what's with the Aurora box arts?
he made those into magnets
Huh.
to give away. So that's pretty cool.
Cool. When were you going to tell me about that? I guess now.
Now
Okay.
it was a surprise.
Well,
And
that's
I think-
awesome. Thanks, Kendall. Appreciate it. It's 10 o'clock. He's got his glasses on his forehead and he's face palming. With his, what Terry call it? Spinach, Dr. Seuss spinach beard or whatever. I don't know.
All right, we have an email from Phil Kupka. Guys, Scotty, can you tell the viewers the name and contact info of the place you had your Silver Surfer bust chromed at?
Yes, it's Creations and Chrome with just an N. Creations and Chrome. And I think I posted the website in the comments of the
Of that episode?
of that
21?
episode, but we'll post them here too. It cost me $75 to get the bust chrome.
Okay. Jason, sorry.
It's pretty cool.
Jason, you have too much disposable income. Cup noodle kit? Yes, why not? Everybody had to get that. Still not used to Terry without his facial hair. Did he and David decide to trade? I think so, actually.
I think we discussed that, didn't we?
Yeah, I think we did.
Maybe off camera, but
yeah, I think it was off camera. That did look like they traded. He wanted to say thank you, Terry and David, for the years of AFM. What a great hobby magazine that you've given us for such an inexpensive cover price. Topics I would like to see. Revive Vehicular Modeler. And they talked about that too a little bit. I think that they're going to be mixing some of that stuff in. A kit bash issue. There are styrene figure modelers out there. So how about a styrene figures issue? There are new styrene figure models produced from time to time, and maybe you could introduce modelers to oldies but goodies, weirdos, finks, monster rods, etc., enabling modelers to experience another version of figure modeling, helping keep the hobby alive and growing, and giving those modelers more opportunities to add to their stashes of kit. I think all of that is very viable, and they're looking at every single bit of that. A couple items discussed briefly were limited run kits and Kickstarters. I'm not a fan of either. My workbench, see photo sent from my phone. My workbench photo. Since we are building a new house and will be moving sometime midsummer, most of my kits are packed for the move. I have kept out a few Fink kits to work on to keep my sanity during the packing, moving, etc. process. Finally, though this episode was another long one, and so is this one, I think adding to the viewers gallery at the end is a good idea. It should help increase and keep subscribers.
We love the viewers gallery. However, viewers, send us your stuff.
Yeah, we don't have a lot.
Okay.
Yeah.
Send us your stuff and we will put it on here.
Yeah.
Okay. Absolutely. Doesn't have to be, again, could be a Scott Johansson paint job. It could be a Jason Walker paint job. By the way, the beard's looking good. You should post that picture that Paul sent us of you.
Yeah, oh yeah, Paul Gill sent me a picture, and it's Ragnar. It's Ragnar from Vikings action figure thing. It looks like me. It's funny.
Did look like you a lot.
I don't have a tattooed head though. I couldn't do that. I would cry. Would totally cry.
Of course you would.
We have an email from Robert Trock. Latest episode and Chicago memories. Hey, great episode. When Jason asked the question about which issue stood out the most to Terry and David, I automatically knew that mine was the diorama issue, and damn if David didn't point that one out too. The reason it's my favorite is probably because, as David also said, I like to build dioramas. Well, duh. Seriously, there are there are several issues that stand out a little more than others for me. The Universal Monsters issue was great. I like the Silent Horrors one as well as all the Writer's Choice issue. Of course, the two Godzilla issues are high on my personal radar as well. I was fortunate enough to finally get in the magazine for the next to last printed issue from last year, which was the Godzilla Kaiju issue. Guess I am part of a collectible now. That you are, which is always weird to kind of think about. Always want to throw in mentions of Chicago area spots from my monster loving youth. I used to get my Aurora monster kits back in the 1970s up in Deerfield at a long gone smallish store called Toy Castle. They had a couple of those Aurora Pro buildups in a case that fried my young brain because I had no idea how to do that. They look so cool. Also, the Twin Drive-In in Wheeling, where I saw so many monster and sci-fi films as a young one. Too many to mention here. Of course, there was Creature Features and the original Screaming Yellow Theater with Jerry G. Bishop. I remember when Creature Features premiered and I finally got to see those classic monsters my dad would tell me about. and Jerry as Svengoolie. One half bizarre and the other hilarious. You guys also mentioned family classics, and I, of course, caught some great stuff on there too. I remember Torbor and When Worlds Collide, among others. For my comic book side, which was and still is a pretty big side, there was my mentor Joe Sarno and his original store on Lawrence Avenue, the Nostalgia Shop, which is a special treat for me at 17 years old to be able to work the first Chicago con that Joe put on in downtown Chicago in 1977. I was 3.
At the Pitt Congress Hotel, I bet.
Okay. I got to hang out with Stan Lee and meet some comic gods that weekend. I'll remember some more places once I put my mind to it, I guess. Keep up the good stuff. I love hearing Chicago stories. It's one of those things. Like,
first of all, Troc don't build dioramas. He builds movie sets.
Yeah, I know.
Okay.
Yeah, I know. He builds some crazy stuff. And again, we're going to have him on. He's another guest he's on our list, and it's coming soon.
He's going to do push-ups while he's on.
Yes. You know what? Yes, I think he has to.
I'm going to match him 1 for 1.
But to be at like the first Chicago Comic Convention, that's pretty cool. That's very cool. My last email that I have is from Roy Kirchhoff. Hey, Jason and Scott, here are some pics of my kits. Use them if you want. Another great show and interview. Hearing about the inside workings of AFM was fascinating. Keep it up. So we're going to put his kits here at the user gallery here at the end. And I think we're done, Scott.
We're done. Don't forget the giveaway. modelclubtv@gmail.com
with terror
Subject
in the
line
symbol.
terror.
Yep.
And also Tony Cipriano's art class. We'll put the link up for that as well. Okay, and don't forget Tony Cipriano's Sculpting in ZBrush with Tony Cipriano, and that's available at creatureartteacher.com. And I think he also has a traditional clay sculpting series there as well. I think that one's $20. That video, I think you can get the two for $30 has to be worth it. I mean, the $10 I spent on the ZBrush thing that I don't even own ZBrush or any 3D rendering program. Makes me want to buy it. ZBrush ought to pay them because it makes me want to buy their $800 program.
I know.
So
me too. And that's
it's really cool. So check that out for sure. And again, thanks to Paul and William Paquette for sending us this giveaway. And thanks to Terry and Dave again for last episode and the amount of views we got.
And thank you to Pestilence Labs for the
Pestilence Labs, Mark Worthling, who we only said his name once.
Oh, he said it like 10 times. And he's got a button. You better not complain.
Yeah, he's got a button.
I'm going to get a button for everybody. Next episode, they're going to be a button for everyone.
Great.
Our normal, usual people. So, speaking of next episode, we don't know what we're doing for next episode yet. We're going to be working on that. And then I haven't talked to Scott about this, which I like to surprise him.
Sure he does.
Such a dick.
Go ahead.
Such a dick. Wonderfest is kind of around when we be recording next. So episode 24 might be a live episode at Wonderfest or recorded at Wonderfest, something like that.
Or Wonderfest.
Yeah.
Or when Scott left Model Club at Wonderfest, I whatever. Who knows?
The fuck did I do today? What did I do?
I didn't get a magnet.
Yeah, I didn't get a magnet yet either.
Oh, there's no reason to scream at the people. Okay.
All right, everybody. Have a great afternoon, an evening, a day, whenever you watch this. We'll see you next time on Model Club TV. Maybe Scott won't be as grumpy next time.
I'm not grumpy. I'm a happy person. Say when.
When?
She sure had a pretty mouth.